We're back now. It's 8:11 with more on the coronavirus, and here to answer some of your questions surrounding it all, we've got a team of experts: NBC senior business correspondent Stephanie Ruhle, NBC News investigative and consumer correspondent Vicky Nguyen, and NBC News medical contributor Dr. Natalie Azar. Good to have you ladies with us. We need some smart ladies right now. Let's talk about business. Let's talk about the economy. People see, I know the market is not the economy, but when you start seeing the biggest one-day point drop ever on Wall Street, people start to freak out.
Okay, I don't want you to freak out. I want you to be concerned, and I want you to be informed. That's really important. But here's something you need to remember. This is not the financial crisis. The financial crisis had a disastrous underlying economy. We're not in that situation. It was a week ago. We got a great jobs report. We got really good unemployment numbers. What we have on our hands is a public health emergency. It is impacting the economy, but we're going to see brighter days again because businesses weren't doing disastrously a week ago.
Yeah, but they do have to weather this storm, and there will be some short-term pain, I imagine, especially when you're talking about whole industries being affected. You're talking about airlines, events being canceled, charity events being canceled. There's a huge splash across the economy. How much of an impact do you think it's going to have?
And a trickle down, right?
Yes.
A company could cancel an event and P.S. they're insured. But how about all the people who work, the consultants, the servers, the hourly wage workers? Well, one of the reasons you'll see that the market is up today, the president's actually addressing it. Last night, he said he wants to talk about helping all Americans. There may be sort of accommodative measures for some of the industries hurt the worst: airlines, cruise industry, hotels, but also maybe a payroll tax cut.
What about small business?
Small business is really important. He mentioned maybe loans for small businesses. But for individuals out there, and this is important, I don't want you to freak out. Obviously, listen to what the professionals in your area are telling you to do. If they say don't go to your church, don't go. But if not, try to support your local businesses. Don't go on lockdown if you don't need to, because a small business, a restaurant, a nail salon, they could go out of business in a month. Yeah. So if people are saying don't go there, don't. But otherwise, try to be considerate. Help your local business. Yeah. Think of it as like shop local.
Yeah, exactly. You're patriotic. You're going out there to spend a little money if you can and just keep it all in perspective. Stephanie, thank you very much. Craig, over to you.
All right, Savannah, thank you. With more companies urging employees to work from home, Amazon just expanded its policy to include New York and New Jersey. So that got us thinking, how are you supposed to do that effectively? So we brought in Vicky Nguyen with some tips on that. So what can people do today if they think at some point they may be forced to work from home?
Yeah, so many companies are doing it. You mentioned Amazon, Facebook, Google. This is the time to prepare. Take stock of what you're going to need to do your job effectively if you have the luxury of doing it from home. That's a computer, that's a laptop, that's internet connectivity to make sure that you can actually log into your work remotely and securely. Calendars, planners, think about this. A lot of us don't have printers anymore. Yeah. How are you going to print documents that you need? Is your company going to help you offset those costs? And also, this is the key. Test that stuff out to make sure you can actually do it and it works before you leave the office.
Are there certain apps, perhaps, that people should be downloading that might help them work from home more effectively?
Yeah, there are a bunch that you can familiarize yourself with right now. Slack is great for sharing files and messages. FaceTime and Skype, everyone's familiar with those for video conferencing. Hangouts is fantastic. You can actually video conference 10 people or have a group message with Google Hangouts for up to 150 people for free. And if you need to message anyone internationally, Messenger on Facebook or WhatsApp will allow you to do that.
Special equipment that people should have.
Think about it. Does your laptop or your computer have a camera? If not, you may have to invest in a webcam for all that video conferencing. Make sure you have a strong Wi-Fi or Ethernet connection. And this isn't something you might want to invest in. Noise-canceling headphones if you work in a noisy environment.
So my son is on a 3-hour delay today, like a lot of folks, as some of these schools
Staying home from school?
You probably will start to see a lot more of this. Parents who are working from home and have children at home, what do they do?
Couple things that you can do. If your child is old enough to be able to work independently, start thinking about the kinds of books and maybe workbooks for math and other skills that they can do at home. Maybe your school is going to send home some learning packets. Familiarize yourself with YouTube Kids. There are some educational videos, apps also on tablets that you can put them on. This is a tip that I personally love that I thought about. Get to know your neighbors and maybe you can switch off. Maybe I can watch your kids for a few hours so you get some quiet time. and then you can host a play date, so I get some quiet time.
Yeah. You often to watch my kids? Is that what I heard there?
Yeah, you got it.
Vicky, thank you. Hoda?
All right, Craig, now to Dr. Natalie Azar. As the virus spreads, people are becoming aware of their surroundings. They want to take precautions to make sure that they don't catch it. So the question is, what do you do? All right, there are a lot of people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. Some are vulnerable. Is the suggestion that they should kind of stay in a small circle, like stay home and stick to little things?
Well, certainly, Hoda, crowded places are definitely riskier. And I think individuals who are over the age of 80 definitely need to consider that. If you're over the age of 60 or any age with significant underlying medical problems, it's not a bad idea to reconsider going out into those crowded places. And if you do go out, some things to keep in mind, some practical tips. You want to create a zone of like 3 to 6 feet around you, because we know that that's how far the virus can travel in those droplets. A lot of companies are doing, staggering work from home schedules for their employees. You can also consider staggering when you commute so that you're not in a crowded subway, for example, during peak hours. And again, just to reiterate the point, if you're older with underlying medical conditions, to take those things into consideration.
We were talking about it lasting on a surface, on a pen, on a cell phone. Do you have any clear indication of how long it lives there?
So literally every day there's something new written about this.
Yeah.
So I think the short answer is we don't know exactly, but I think experts are centering in on this idea of a few hours, maybe up to a day. But the surface matters. So a hard, cold surface like metal or plastic, it'll last longer as opposed to a porous surface such as clothing or other kinds of material like that.
A lot of people are having trouble finding hand sanitizer. We heard Kerry Sanders in his report say, look, just use soap.
Right.
Are all soaps alike? Any bar of soap will do the trick?
So what I love about the idea of the hand washing is that to remember that the soap is not the thing that kills the germ. The soap has chemical properties that actually lift the germs off of your hand so that you can then scrub them off. And the type doesn't matter, or should matter, I should say. Antibacterial is not necessary, okay? The other thing is about temperature. People ask,
the water, hot or
the
cold.
temperature doesn't matter either. It's all about the scrubbing. Warm could irritate a little bit more, so just to keep that in mind.
So you could use cold water, wash your hands, and you're fine.
Yep. And the time we always talk about is 20 seconds. And another reason to use soap, you need that extra time to get all the soap off, so it's better than just washing with just water alone.
So is the Purell then not doing it? Because you're not really scrubbing it off, you're just mushing it around.
Right. So the Purell definitely works. It has to be, again, we say this a lot, more than at least 60% alcohol containing. Not quite as good as hand washing. I like to say keep it in your back pocket, in your purse as an adjunct. Always have it on the go with you if you can't get to a sink.
All right, Dr. Azar, thank you.